and you can quote this on me. There is no way the Orioles or Red Sox make the playoffs this season. Yeah, yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
I set the bar really low at the NBA predictions.
I don't think all Mavs fans look into the stats like I do.
It's not the great value Target brand toilet paper or whatever. It's the Charmin Ultra Strong.
I don't know if Nick Nurse is the coach for the Raptors. I don't know if he's the reason why they won the 2019 championship. I feel like that was more of a team effort.
The Mavs cannot say we do not miss Seth Curry shooting threes.
This questions the firing of Dwayne Casey, who I think is a very underrated coach.
To me, the Capitals really pushed all their chips for this season.
Hello, I'm Mike Grimes, and you've been listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA Opinions of the Week. Of course, the NBA Finals are set, but before we get to that, who would you rather be out of the losers in both the conference finals, the Knicks or Timberwolves? Austin.
This is tough. I've seen both of the teams kind of crumple within already. There was currently some complaints about Cat's defense and effort during some parts of the series and the playoffs. And there's also questions regarding Julius Randle, the two players that were traded for each other. And these two teams made a huge trade. Obviously, this was a huge trade between these teams, and they both made it to the same spot. The Knicks won one more game, but it doesn't really matter. I don't think anyone's keeping score in that regard. But I think I would rather be the Knicks right now because I think their path to success is easier because they're in the East and they have a more definitive way to win than I think the Timberwolves do. But I could understand either team being picked as your who would you rather be.
Yeah, I can understand that as well, but I'm going to side with the Knicks because I feel they're the better team. You have so many great pieces compared to the Timberwolves where they do have good pieces, but you mentioned Julius Randle. I do think you have some star power with Anthony Edwards, but Jalen Brunson, I want to say Anthony Edwards has a better ceiling than Jalen Brunson as superstar player and that number one guy, but I don't think what they are right now is too different from each other. And with the Knicks, you have Brunson, you have OG, you have Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and you mentioned Cat. To me, it's easier to find that one piece, which would be a center for the Knicks, compared to where I think you have to do a lot more shuffling on that Timberwolves roster.
I think you need more than just a center with the Knicks. I think they need more depth. Whether that's Thibodeau deciding to actually play it or not, sure, that could be part of the equation. But I don't know if you want to be playing Landry Shamet the entire series. He obviously played well. But is he really the answer that you want as a shooter coming off the bench? He's not a great defender. He was looking good passing-wise in the series. I do think center is definitely an issue, though. With the Timberwolves, I think the bigger problem with them is that they kind of look stagnant at times, and McDaniels fails to come through. And then they're a really big team. I mean, Julius Randle, Jaden McDaniels, Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert. They have those guys, and they also are really short. They have Dante DiVincenzo, who's not that tall, and you also have Mike Conley. They just don't have some of those guys that are in that can get you a bucket off the dribble besides Ant. I know Julius Randle can, but when he's not on, Julius Randle really does struggle with the ball in his hands. When he's amazing, he's amazing, but when he's horrible, he's horrible. He's a high ceiling but extremely low floor. And that's just the type of player he is. I do think Rudy Gobert gives you a lot of stability on defense that necessarily Cat or even Mitchell Robinson does not offer because Rudy Gobert can play the entirety of games. But if you want to beat a team like the Thunder, you need more ball handlers than the Timberwolves currently have. Conley is still a good passer, but he really does lack that scoring ability that he had in his prior years. So I think they need a point guard going forward. I think that's what the Timberwolves really lack. Is a dominant point guard. And you don't need that guy to be Tyrese Halliburton by any means, but he needs to be a lot more than what Conley provides because Ant really has two modes, and it's stand there and shoot the ball or take over the game mode. And there has to be somewhere in the middle where he is getting the ball, but not obviously taking up the ball every possession and being a dominant force because it'll just wear him out defensively. I do think the Knicks are in a better position now. Last year they lost in the second round, while the Timberwolves have lost in the conference finals back-to-back years. But I think both of these teams are on the rise. I don't think I could see the Timberwolves taking a step back in terms of how far they make it in the playoffs. But I do think that's more of a how good the West is than them actually regressing, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, and I also do think you have to think about how long can Mike Conley still play and be that starter, because you do have age with him compared to where the Knicks have a young roster, I would say.
Mostly,
you got a couple more years. I think the Timberwolves will need to find more pieces compared to the Knicks. I think they have, and then they can add in depth. But yeah, I do think both teams are on the rise, especially the Timberwolves, because you do have Ant. Knicks, you do have Brunson, but also just such a well-crafted team. So it's really tough. Both are in good positions, as we agree. However, I just feel like the Knicks are close. They just need to find, maybe it's a coaching change, or maybe it's just one more year with Cat with them.
Yeah, even though I do have problems with how Thibodeau coaches, I do not believe that he should be fired or anything. I think NBA coaches are fired too frequently, and I do think that harms the team and harms the continuity. Your team's been progressing. I think next year, if they massively regress, like lost in the first round, I could definitely see it. But they've gone from first round exit to second round exit to third round exit. I would stay with the coach and just decide to make changes in free agency and a draft to improve this roster.
Yeah, I don't think you fire him after this year, but maybe in the future, a coaching change would be the way to do it. That's how I feel their team just needs a little bit. That's how well I feel their team is. It's not a roster. It's one that you can always improve the roster, but I think it's more just the mentality and just how they're attacking a game. Where Timberwolves, there to me are more issues that need to be addressed.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.